Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my review of LEGO set 75375, the Millennium Falcon. This set surprised me in every way imaginable, and I want to tell you all about that. This video was not sponsored by LEGO, all opinions are my own. This is an 18+ LEGO set, so today we're going to be very critical. Let's dive in. An 18+ style set of course comes with the 18+ style box art, this time however with that bluish silver 25th anniversary accent. The front shows off the model just beautifully, and we finally have a name for the previously called midi-scale sets, the Starship Collection. On the back of the box we see the backside of the Falcon. Let's see what's inside. You get a total of 11 numbered bags, a flexible trans blue piece, the instruction manual, and not a single sticker in this set, it's all prints. That is what I want to see from a premium price like this. I love that. I'm beyond stoked to put this together, so let's get into it. Before getting deep into it, first the objective information. Set 75375 Millennium Falcon came out March 1st this year and is once again part of the 25th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars. Not only that, it's also in the brand new Starship Collection, consisting of slightly smaller display models primarily focused on an older demographic. It comes with 921 pieces and retails for $85 and euros, £75 and 150 Australian. I agree, that seems like a lot of money for a relatively small set, but in terms of value you are paying about 9 cents per piece, which really is not that bad for a Star Wars set. Weight of course is more fair, and that brings you to a 14 cents per gram of LEGO, which is about average, I'd say. The misleading factor is its size, but really it's quite compact, but more on that later. The set doesn't come with any minifigures whatsoever. Here are the spare parts that were included in my box, and the instruction manual has a total of 181 pages. That seems pretty much it for now. I feel like it's quite obvious, but this ship is based on the Millennium Falcon from the original Star Wars trilogy. Arguably the most iconic spaceship in cinema history, has been through a ton of action throughout the movies. And even though at first glance it might seem like a big rust bucket, it quickly grows on you and becomes a massive part of the Star Wars name. We've seen plenty of LEGO versions of this ship, but not often this particular scale. Let's take a closer look. Building this set was much more fun than I expected, mostly due to the rather unexpected techniques. The panels snap together in a super satisfying way, and it comes together just pretty quickly. There was some repetitiveness while building the panels. 7 of them were pretty darn similar, but they made sure not to build them back to back, so that helped a lot. In total I spent exactly 1.5 hours building this Millennium Falcon. Now the very first thing I thought when I finished it was, wow, this is a lot bigger than I expected it to be. And that instantly changed my initial opinion about the price being too high. It measures 24.5 centimeters long, 19.5 centimeters wide, and on its stand it's about 13.5 centimeters high. You really need to see it in real life though, as I feel like the images just don't do it justice. I've never been so wrong before about how big I thought it was gonna be. Anyway, enough about that, let's take a closer look and afterwards see how screen accurate this model actually is. First, what you need to know is this is one of my favorite ships from Star Wars, as unoriginal as that may be. It's important to know going into this. I absolutely love, and I mean love, this Falcon. It's relatively small and still ridiculously detailed. Starting at the front, we've got some really nice printed pieces that add those beautiful details, and the overall shaping of the front area looks pretty nice. The only thing I feel like seems off is the 2 pieces on the very front. If I exaggerate it, I think it makes the shape look a little too much like this, where it should be super straight and streamlined. A quick fix could be moving these 2 pieces back 1 stud. It's not perfect, but slightly better in my personal opinion. It just feels slightly too bulky. The center panels look really nice and tiled off, and overall I love the tile to stud ratio. There's a nice balance there. The cockpit area was done quite well too, using a perfectly printed piece for the canopy. The gaps over here though do stick out a little bit, but these are the only gaps that bother me in the entire set. On the other side we have the radar dish, which to my surprise can't spin to the left, even though in universe it absolutely can. There's an easy fix though, just replace the jumper plate for a smooth tile, but still I I thought that was strange. The dish does look very nice though. In the center we have the turret accompanied by another printed window piece, which is the same one used for the cockpit. I think they really nailed the center area of the ship. It looks pretty accurate. What I really love, however, are the docking areas on the sides. Once again, utilizing very nice looking prints. It just adds those really tiny details. Moving towards the back, those exhaust vent kind of things are done using the generic printed round tiles, but it works perfectly for this set. Great choice. Then there's the actual exhausts, which are recreated using one of these rubbery pieces, and let me tell you, it is perfect. It's perfect. Nothing else would have looked better, I think. I absolutely love the backside of this whole thing. The bottom of the Falcon is plain but not ugly by any means. It does, however, lack the appropriate details like holes for the landing gear or the guns in the center, but of course the display stand had priority, and I completely understand and agree with that. You might think that's it, but while building you actually get to put in some tiny little Easter eggs. You have Chewbacca and R2-D2 playing hollow chess, there's a scene with Obi-Wan training Luke, and we're getting Han Solo and Leia being interrupted by C-3PO. Such a fun little detail which they did not need to put in, but they did it anyway. It is completely covered up afterwards, so you really just need to build it to know. Now, as far as the build goes, I must say it's not the strongest ever, but overall it does feel solid. You just want to make sure to hold it by the main structure because the front area isn't super strong. These panels also are just attached with clips, so it's not a rock, but it's more than strong enough for its purpose. As you know, this set comes with a display stand as it's meant as a display set. Unlike the other ships in this sub-theme, this one comes at an angle, and allow me to educate you on the fact that that was absolutely necessary because it makes it 20 times more dynamic and fun to look at. If it were straight, I don't know, it just wouldn't look right. In the center there's a nicely printed nameplate with Millennium Falcon on it, and you're also given the option to swap one of these grill pieces with a printed 25th anniversary brick, which looks fine, but I do prefer it without it. It looks very clean like this, and I'm all about that. Bloody hell, ladies and gentlemen, call me biased, but what a beautiful Lego set this is. Let's go ahead and see how accurate this is compared to the real thing. We need to take into consideration the scale at which this model was made. This obviously limits the amount of accuracy you can have, but still, let's see. The first thing I noticed besides the overall bulkiness is the cockpit. It is slightly oversized. Pointy elements on the front also are a tad thick and less streamlined than the real thing. But besides that, if we look at it as a whole, it is all there, and I think it looks as accurate as it needed to. I always say this, but there is a big difference between accuracy and resemblance, and does this not just perfectly resemble what it needs to? Now, a big piece of criticism about basically any Starship Collection Lego set is that they don't include minifigures. Personally, I am quite mixed on this because yes, there is definitely room for them and it would justify the seemingly high prices, but I am also of the opinion that these are really just standalone models and they don't really need a minifigure if you ask me. I like the way they look without any fireworks like minifigures or these printed anniversary bricks. I don't know, it looks more legit somehow, so for me it doesn't really matter that we don't get figures. Would it have been cool? Absolutely, but I wouldn't have displayed them with the set anyway. I can absolutely understand if you disagree, though. The argument for having figures in there is very, very valid, especially because there are such great choices to be made there.
Pros and cons.
The pros, without sounding too much like a simp, the design is amazing, the details are just great, and besides a few minor nitpicks, I don't think there's much to argue about that there. Its size makes for just a beautiful display without having to make room for it, like a massive UCS set, for example. And just the premiumness it's got. Having only prints, you don't see that often. I think for all of this, the price is more than justified. And the cons, even though I personally might not care, not having a minifigure absolutely is worth noting. This can be a deal breaker for some people. And, well, that is literally all I've got for cons. I just really like this set. Well, guys, I feel like it's obvious what I'm about to say. If you're a fan of the original trilogy, or Star Wars, or this ship, any of it, this is a fantastic buy. I really don't think you should skip on this one. Maybe the other ones from the Starship Collection, I'm not sure, but this one... If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell not to miss a single future video, and maybe check this one out on screen right now. See you in the next one.